I don't know. I'm just,
Yeah.
but I figured I wouldn't just take my contact out.
But then what would we do?
But I found these and a little, one of those little cleaning
The
rags.
little
I
cleaning
could-
things? Yeah.
Filthy.
Okay, let's see.
Okay, I think we're going to get started, folks.
Yeah.
I'd like to call this February 4th, 2025 meeting of the Henderson City County Planning Commission to order. I want to welcome everybody. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate all your help. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
David Dixon,
Here.
Kevin Richard,
Here.
Bobby Jarrett, Mac Arnold,
Here.
XR Royster,
Here.
Dickie Johnson,
Here.
Gary Gibson,
Here.
Gray Hodge,
Here.
Stacy Denton,
Here.
Kevin Herron, Frank Boyette,
Here.
Heather Tays.
Here.
Very good. Do we have a quorum?
We do, thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we proceed, Mr. Bishop, you might have an introduction we can take care of.
I do. In addition to Mr. Friday, who's on the Zoom call, who is on his annual sabbatical to the Florida Keys, we have Ms. Ashley Hampton, who is sitting in for us this month's meeting. Ashley has an extensive background, former assistant county attorneys, works for the city of Roberts, and also is the pinch hitter for the city of Boulder when Ms. Kelsey can't do it. So we think we have adequate representation with her and Mr. Friday.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for helping us out. Let's see, we do have some public hearing business to take care of. I'll entertain a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of entering public hearing, say yes.
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 Any opposed? We are in public hearing. First item of business is approval of the minutes from the January 7 meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes, say yes.
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 Any opposed? Minutes are approved. First item of business then is rezoning 1174 with a development plan. Ms. Marks, you going to lead that one?
That's me, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I may have written it down wrong, I apologize.
Ms. Bishop, please.
Yes, sir. Rezoning 1174 with a development plan submitted by Yogi Krupa Properties LLC for the property located in the city of Henderson at 2950 Highway 60 East, being parcel ID number 65-30, containing approximately 0.8 acres. The applicants have submitted a zoning change map amendment with a development plan to rezone from city general business to highway commercial. You will see in the staff report and proposed findings of fact, unfortunately, in this case, staff would recommend against the rezoning, and we have put the reasons for that in the motion. If for some reason you disagree with staff, which is your prerogative, we would request that you give us the findings that you would like for us to use, and we will come back with findings in favor of the recommendation. And just a reminder, the Planning Commission does not rezone property. We only recommend to the City Commission, and they would have the final say. So for example, if the Planning Commission were to recommend not to approve, the City Commission could still approve the rezoning. And I'll do my best to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, any questions from the commission for staff? Can we see all the surrounding zones, please?
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, does that help? So the parcel in question is the red rectangle directly south of the 60 logo.
Okay, can you explain to us what those other zones are?
Yes, so on the left, I believe we have residential 4, which there's multiple family apartments. Across the street as well, you have residential units. I believe that's Saddlebrook to the north. And then you also have residential units to the left or northwest. All of those are R4, I believe. Is that correct? Jennifer, can you?
The green is PUD. So
PUD,
it's
I'm sorry.
This was done as a residential PUD. That zoning doesn't exist. We just have the PUD, but this was done as RPUD. And then yet the brown is the R4. And then the ag is here, but these are also,
Yeah, and the R4 portion is Pebble Creek Apartments for reference.
Okay, and the orange is,
Orange is R2,
okay.
and yellow is R1, further south on the map.
And then there's another business zone there.
There is, to the left, that is Aqua City, and then you would know, there's the church, which the name escaped me at that point. And then I'm sorry.
Community Baptist.
Community Baptist, yes, that is the portion of that road that is kind of commercial in nature.
Okay. Could you explain maybe to the commission why you have issues with this?
Yes, so the current property is over a mile away from the I-69 interchange, and the Planning Commission may remember that we recently had workshops dealing with the I-69 corridor, and we adopted proposed objectives. Objective number 3 of the comprehensive plan reinforces the need for increased level of design with development to create and maintain the current sense of place along Highway 60, to promote housing, commercial, and mixed-use development areas with access to I-69, and encourage the increased level of design in areas with higher visibility to reinforce the community's sense of place. As we said before, it is residential in nature for the most part in that area. But the one large item that the Planning Commission has no authority on, or nor the City Commission for that matter, is Highway 60 from the Davies County line to the Union County line is considered one of Kentucky's scenic byways. And then you get into KYDC documentation, and they have strongly discouraged, if not outright, made it unlawful to have bright animated signs.
So in this area 1 mile to the east where we're about to put an interstate highway, what kind of signs will be allowed there?
That would depend a lot on what KYTC would allow, what zones those properties are in the future. And I think Mr. Davis is here to probably, if you have more details about what signs are allowed in which zone, Mr. Davis would probably be a better solution to that.
Okay, are the different uses that can be applied to two zones, is that an issue here tonight?
It is, and I'll give you a brief version of it, but Mr. Davis can give a more detailed answer. My understanding is the general business zone allows for a certain size of sign and a certain type. So for example, the rezoning to highway commercial would allow for more signage on the existing poles with animated signs that you would see in a more commercial nature or area. You would have animation and distracting type advertisements, where the general business is pretty much what it is now. My understanding from our conversations with Mr. Davis is that the sign that's there now is acceptable, it's in compliance, but to get a larger, more animated sign, you have to have a highway commercial designation.
Okay, my question was, what about the uses of the property beyond the sign?
I'm sorry. The use would not change. It would stay the current convenience store / gas station that it is. The rezoning is specifically for allowing a larger, more animated sign.
Okay.
So they would not be able to do anything of a more intense
they
use?
could if it was rezoned.
They could if there's a rezoning involved. But from the development plan and the documentation that they have provided, they specifically address the sign only.
I understand that, but give me the worst case scenario. What would be the most intense use they could put that to if it were highway commercial?
That's probably a relative term or relative description, but Mr.
Forget the
Davis,
worst part of it.
Mr. Davis, could you give us an example of what's allowed highway commercial? You have the zoning ordinance. Sorry for Mr. Boyette. He's a better answer, or person to answer.
Your name, sir?
Steve Davis,
Your address?
1990 Barrett Court, Suite B.
You promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do, sir.
Okay, I think the question is, if this is rezoned, what other uses can be put to the property? Is that correct, Commissioner?
Yes.
Okay, so I can read to you the permitted uses in highway commercial and general business.
Well,
So
I'm more interested in how it differs from general business.
Well, they're all going to be business uses, pretty much.
Yeah.
you have a vast allowed permitted, a vast number of allowed permitted uses in highway commercial. General business has probably as much as, if not more than, because we base this on, like, it goes back to neighborhood business, and then we build on top of that to general business, and all that's allowed.
Is it fair to say that they're more intense and more traffic-based business than highway commercial?
Yeah, I would,
I think, is that the root of the
Well,
question?
maybe some examples, just a couple.
yeah, that would probably be the best thing to do. So in general business, you can do banks, department stores, car wash establishments, automobile, motorcycle, trailer, boat showrooms, highway commercial, you can do animal hospitals, farm implement contractor, equipment display, truck stops, I mean, so hotels, motels. It's very similar, but I think probably, you think bigger, would probably be better, an idea.
Steve, would it help to read the intent of
Yeah, we
those
can do
zones?
that, sure.
That's at the beginning of the chapters.
Okay, so let's start with general business. The general business district is intended to permit a wider range of business and entertainment activities that are permitted in the neighborhood business district. The permitted uses would serve not only the nearby residential areas, but also people further away for types of businesses and services usually found in major shopping centers, central business districts at the juncture of principal streets. These uses would generate larger volumes of vehicular traffic, would need more off-street parking and loading, and would require more planning to integrate such districts and with adjacent residential areas.
And that's general business.
That's general business. Highway commercial, the district is established to provide areas for commercial uses which are mainly oriented to vehicular traffic. So probably more designated for a highway.
Well, you were talking, no, you said Highway 6, they recommend not for highway commercial. Don't we have highway commercial inside the city of Cardin?
It's not necessarily the zoning, it's the signage. The scenic byway is what they're really, they want to make sure Highway 60 is not obnoxious, for lack of a better word, from a driving viewing standpoint. It's not necessarily the zoning designation. They're really strict on the signage that they allow on their right-of-way or adjacent to their right-of-way.
They said, well, all we do is recommend them for the city anyway, 'cause they going, if they don't like it, they're gonna turn it down anyway, so.
Correct.
But,
They have the power to do so.
Commission have any other questions for this gentleman at the moment? Thank you, sir. Commission have any other questions for staff at this point? Do we have anybody with us tonight that'd like to speak in favor of this rezoning? Please, sir. Need your name?
Good evening. My name is Davis Hunter. I represent Yogi Krupka Properties. Mr. Sanket Patel, the owner of Yogi Krupka Properties, is here with me.
Okay.
And we would like to briefly speak in favor of the application.
We'll do this separately. Name again?
My name is Davis Hunter.
Your
I'm an
address?
attorney representing Yogi Krupka Properties.
Your address?
318 2nd Street, Henderson.
Good. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Very good. And your name, sir?
Sanket Patel,
Your address?
2950 US Highway 60, Henderson, Quebec.
Good. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Only truth, nothing.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you all. Go ahead.
So, I'll be brief. The sign in question here, it's not a big new sign, it's not a billboard, it's a 6-foot by 4-foot sign that, if approved, will be installed on already standing supports, I guess you could call them. I just wanted to make sure that everyone had the proper understanding of what exactly we're dealing with here. Thank you, whoever pulled that photo up. As far as I understand the concern of not wanting to open the floodgates, so to speak, and if this is granted, that Mr. Patel will be constructing, new buildings and billboards and all this. It's just a 6 by 4 foot sign And they need it to advertise all the products and services that they have in the store. If any of you guys have been there, it's not just your run-of-the-mill gas station. You know, they have a lot of stuff going on in there that they need to advertise. They have contacted Husk Companies Incorporated, who's very experienced in this sort of thing and does a good job. But they were told that they needed to seek this approval. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of exactly what Yogi Krupka Properties is wanting to do and what they're not wanting to do. They simply want to erect a sign that will adequately allow them to advertise all their services. I was listening to some of the examples of businesses that require highway commercial versus general business. In my opinion, that the type of business we're talking about and the type of advertising we're talking about would not cause the kind of issues that folks are concerned about with highway commercial. So if you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them. Mr. Patel will as well, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that this is a fairly limited in scope project.
Mr. Davis, if for some reason the Planning Commission were to recommend the rezoning, would the applicant agree to limit the use so that some of the concerns would be addressed, that there wouldn't be more intensity and high traffic uses there?
Yes, so like, it would be specifically to like, some promotions going on in the store, like 12 pack, 2 liters or the 20 ounces, and we have the good food business, so the combo, so those kind of advertisement, nothing like addressing like, cigarette products or something to bring people in and try to like, like damage the community in the youth.
And if this was approved, I think the question is, would you be willing to just limit it to just the sign?
Just
As
limit it
opposed-
to the sign, yes.
So how much smaller or bigger is the new sign compared to the sign that's on the post now?
The poles are,
Excuse me, Council, the Commissioner just asked a question, I'll come right back to you.
the poles are 6 feet apart, correct?
Yeah, 6 feet apart.
So the sign would be 6 foot by 4 foot. So the poles stay where they are. The new sign, as proposed, would fill the space between the two poles, and it would be 4 foot. How tall is the 277
I
sign there?
think 277 is 20 or 24 inches.
Okay.
Commissioner Dawson, on the photograph that they have provided, the new portion is where it's 53 inches and 1/4 inch, and then looks like 75 inches and 3. That's the new portion that they're requesting.
Does it get
Is it
taller?
gonna be added to the sign that's there?
Yes,
To the
it's added to
bottom?
the bottom.
And it does not get taller. That's at the bottom of the sign, which is.
So you're actually got signage there now, but it's not illuminated, correct?
Yes.
It's not animated.
Okay.
Like, so, for example, the gas price and everything is illuminated. It's just not animated.
What we're seeking
And I-
is the 6 foot by 4 foot sign that's digital and will be able to change.
And I don't want to mischaracterize, is animated the right word to use?
I mean, I think we all know, we've all seen those signs before. It's a digital sign.
It can change.
It can, I don't know how you do it exactly, but it changes because due to the number of products and services that they sell, they need a changing board to show it all. But as you can see, it's not changing, it's not reducing the scenic nature of the area or anything. It's just putting a new lower sign on what's already existing.
My question would be, is there a, and I guess Mr. Davis could answer that, is there a requirement on the maximum amount of light that, I guess it's called luminance, correct? Is there a limit on that?
There is.
Okay.
Okay. Hang on one second. TJ, you wanted to add something, please?
I do. Mr. Hunter?
Yes, sir.
This is Tommy Joe Friday. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Would you ask your client if he would be willing to restrict the property with the use of a narrative development plan to only a gas station and convenience store if it is rezoned. That would keep everything just like it is, but it would not allow tearing that facility down and putting a motel there or one of the other permitted uses.
Yes, that's what he, yeah. The only thing we'd like to do with this application is install the digital sign. So he would be agreeable to that.
Okay, thank you.
It would be agreeable to what I said, to restricting it to a gas station and convenience store.
Yes.
If it's rezoned, so he could get his sign.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, TJ. Yes, Mr. Davis, you answer the question from the commissioner.
Okay, so, I want them to listen to this closely because we don't want to make sure that they don't exceed it.
No electronic message sign may exceed a brightness level of 0.3 foot candles above ambient light as measured using a foot candle meter at a preset distance depending on sign area.
Any description on
I've
the
heard a lot of
preset
crazy
distance, or is it?
It's an exhibit B.
Write that down.
Second. Okay, now it gives the area of the sign and then the measured distance in feet. So the area of the sign was 24, so 50 feet. Nice.
And Mr. Davis, we can share that with you.
I would love that. That way we can pass along to Husk Companies who's going to be building this sign. So we want to make sure that they're aware of those restrictions.
I have one more question for other Mr. Davis. So just the way,
Sorry, I got my Davis.
the way the regulations and such are written, if you were in general business and wanted a sign like this, is there any kind of sign waiver you could request? Is there a mechanism for that?
I think their problem is the square footage of the sign. When they add that, it's exceeding the allowable square footage in general business. So in order to get the message board, it would have to go to highway commercial to fit. It will not fit, and you can get an electronic message board with a conditional use going through BOZA in the general business, but their square footage is kind of, it would exceed with the message board. Yeah.
One question I got, what's the difference of that and say like the sign we got in front of our church there in Carson? Now that baby, when that light up, it's bright. And
I don't think there is a difference. I can't tell you what the difference would be. It's called an electronic message board. It's a digital sign that's able to be programmed to display messages.
that's the way our sign is.
Yeah, so there may or may not be, I mean, I cannot tell you, but in essence, it's called an electronic message board.
But you see them everywhere in town and around.
A lot of churches have them. Yep.
The regulations you shared about the illumination, does that apply to both zones?
Oh, yeah, it's for the electronic message boards, period.
No matter what the zone?
Whatever zone it is.
Good. Commission, have any further questions for anybody here? We may need to come back to you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else here this evening like to speak in favor of this proposed rezoning? Anybody here this evening who'd like to speak in opposition to this proposed rezoning or has further questions? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a request, please?
Yes.
If the Plan Commission does direct staff to come back with findings in favor of the recommendation, we would recommend that two things be included. One would be the limiting of the uses, and the second would be approval from KYTC regarding the scenic byway. We don't want to get ourselves in conflict with those folks.
I think those are excellent suggestions. Can you give it to us again?
Yes, sir. One condition would be that they limit the use as described by Mr. Friday, and we can transcribe that from the minutes. And the second would be approval from KYTC, most likely via the encroachment permit process or something of that nature.
The applicants have any reaction to that?
No, Mr. Patel is agreeable, should we go, sorry. Assuming nothing has changed from what Mr. Friday said earlier, then Mr. Patel is agreeable to having those restrictions in place, so long as it allows him to keep his business going as it always has.
And then also bringing in the state highway people, you're agreeable to that?
Oh, yeah, I mean, we'll have to be in compliance with them no matter what, I imagine.
Okay, thank y'all.
Mr. Chair?
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Chairman,
Yes, sir, go ahead.
may I address Mr. Hunter?
Yes, you may.
Mr. Hunter, you and I will need to work out the verbiage, and it's pretty standard in Henderson. Your now retired partner banker and I have done it a lot. But one thing that will be in there that was not mentioned that I would also ask you to request your client to agree to, or ask him if he will agree to it. In order to change that restriction, he would have to come back to the Planning Commission with a new zoning application, advertise, do all the things that you did this time. To change that use that he would be agreeing to, gas station, convenience store, he would have to come back to Planning Commission. Is that agreeable?
If the only action that we would be requesting at that time is that he be allowed to continue his business as is, then yes, we're willing to go through whatever hoops are necessary.
Yeah, what I think TJ means is if he should try to seek a different use than the current one sometime in the future.
Correct.
I see. Oh, of course.
Then this process would start all over again.
Understood.
Okay. Everybody's understood?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, TJ.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you. Thank you, folks.
Yes.
Any other questions from the commission? Comments? Anything from the audience? Anything further from staff?
No, sir.
I think we need to think about a motion in regard to rezoning 1174 with the development plan. What's the pleasure of the commission?
Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna try to figure out what we need to do. And we've been spoiled by our staff preparing motions for us, but I want to make a motion that we recommend to the city to approve rezoning 1174 with the development plan, and request that the staff come up with findings of fact to promote,
To support that
support it,
recommendation.
with the conditions that we limit the uses on the property, and approval, whatever state agency that we have to go through, KYTC, and as Tommy Joe said, future uses that he may want to change legally, he has to come through the same process that we're doing tonight.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Motion is to approve or recommend approval of the rezoning with the development plan with the conditions that have been added. Any further discussion by the commission? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Kevin Richard?
Yes.
Bobby Jarrett?
Yes.
Mac Arnold?
Yes.
XR Royster?
Yes.
Dickie Johnson?
Yes.
Gary Gibson?
Yes.
Gray Hodge?
Yeah.
Stacy Denton?
Yes.
Frank Boyette?
Yes.
Heather Tace?
Yes.
Very good. Motion passes. Thank you all. Thank you folks for joining us tonight. We're going to move on to the next item in public hearing. It's a right-of-way closure request. I think Ms. Marks, you got that one?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. A right-of-way closure request submitted by RKBB Properties LLC, Matt Reynolds, owner, to close a portion of McLean Avenue right-of-way near the intersection of South Main Street. Let me pull up a map that's a little bit easier to see than the plat. Okay, so we were talking about the location, when we're looking here, this is South Main, and then this is McLean. The hatched part in red is the right-of-way that has been requested to be closed. This drawing was done by the city engineer, so if you have further questions on that. But this is one of those locations that had a very large right-of-way. I don't think it says, it might say it on here, it's just small. But there's currently 60 foot of right-of-way here. And so the request that he's asking is to close this portion to consolidate into his lot, the lots here. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Reynolds.
Oh, you're right.
And so that is his request there. It did go through the city and then come to us, of course, for that recommendation.
Does that mean the city has approved this?
The request has to go through the city first, and then they will send it to us for a recommendation on the closure. We hold the public hearing, including the notifications and things like that. So from here, we'll make the recommendation and then it goes back to them.
So I guess one question, the red box area, does that contact any property lines other than the property owned by RKBB Properties?
Let's go back to the plat, so that way we can kind of see that a little better. City engineer, do you know if there were any requests that you had to have signed for this right-of-way closure? The city does those, so that is why I was asking him.
We need your name, sir,
Doug Boone,
and your address.
222 First Street.
You promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Very good. How can you help?
Repeat your question.
Were there any signatures that you needed to get because this right-of-way does affect anyone else's property other than SKB?
No.
So then my follow-up question, because I see a light attendance, did anybody contact the office in favor or against this closure?
Okay. Has the city approved this? Does the city want this to happen?
The city-
Mr. Chairman?
The city originated the request.
We originated a request. Planning Commission knows.
Yes, but I believe to answer Chairman Dixon's question is, the city originated the request, and the utilities have provided no pushback or disagreeable comment.
Correct.
Okay, I guess I'm just not making myself clear. The city requested that we hold a public hearing, or did the city request that this be closed?
The city requests that we hold the public hearing,
So
and
they
they would
haven't-
have the official action to close.
So we don't know if they're in favor of it or not. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, DJ, sorry, go ahead.
The city uses the public hearing as the basis to form its opinion whether it wants to close it or not. This is not a statutory planning commission task. It is a city task, but the city is not accustomed to holding public hearings. So the city asked the planning commission to accommodate it, and the city requests that the planning commission perform the public hearing task that it would normally perform and make a recommendation. Then the city commission looks at the transcript of our public hearing and our recommendation, then they make their decision. It's a little different than a rezoning in that you begin that process with the planning commission and the city has the final say. In this case, the city's just asking us to help them by holding the public hearing.
Okay, thank you.
But then, Tommy Joe, if I heard you correctly, the output required by the planning commission is still a motion to approve or disapprove? Or recommendation, recommendation?
Correct, to recommend. We do not have to do findings. It's a good idea to state a reason if you have one. It's different than a rezoning, even though it's similar.
Okay. Any other questions for this gentleman that, in the commission?
And I'm assuming that sometime or another, the city of Henderson established this right of way down through there.
No, this was annexed, it was in the county originally.
Why was that big of a,
I have no idea.
You don't have any
Trying to figure
idea?
that out, yeah.
it's not being used for anything? No future?
Currently, in the closure area, there is no utilities in the way.
And it looks like it extends on down, I guess, south?
Yes. It continues all the way to Green Street.
Any other questions? At the moment? Thank you, sir. Is anybody here tonight that'd like to speak in favor of this right-of-way closure request? By all means, sir. Thank you. Your name?
Matt Reynolds,
Address?
438 Westfield Lane, Henderson, Kentucky, 42420.
Promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Please. Well, I guess the question is why this request is being made?
Sure. I purchased this property almost a year ago, and as they mentioned, the property, I mean, it was large. I had some plans, what I was going to do. Probably should have done a little more legwork in the beginning, but I went ahead and bought it because it was out of an estate. I wanted to get it before it went to, market. Anyway, found out from Steve Davis a few months after I bought it. I called Steve and I told him, I said my plan was to build a multifamily unit on the lot that I was going to subdivide off. Mr. Davis said that wasn't possible because the right-of-way took up what would be the buildable square feet of a multifamily lot, which is 10,000. Right now, with the right-of-way where it is, there's only 8,295 square feet of buildable property. By closing part of the right-of-way, I would be able to get the 10,000 and then some to be able to do the multifamily in the future.
Okay. Any other questions for this gentleman? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak to this matter? Any further questions from the commission to any party? If not, I'll entertain a motion in regard to this.
I got one.
Sorry, Frank, go ahead.
One question, I guess. If there is a need for utility easements in the future?
Yes, Frank, so we have actually circulated this, I guess, to the utilities. And a plat is still gonna need to be done if this is moved forward and closed, there would need to be a consolidation plat done. And on that plat, some of the utilities have requested or potentially might need easements, and they would be dedicated on that plat.
And this is something the applicant is agreeable to.
Mr. Reynolds, would you mind saying that for the record?
Sure. Matt Reynolds, telling the truth again. Yes, if an easement is necessary, I would have no problem at all with that. All I'm requesting is just the 10,000 square feet of buildable property. That's it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any other questions from the commission? I'll entertain a motion in regard to this right-of-way closure request submitted by RKBB.
I'll make a motion that we approve this.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Madam
You're
Secretary?
recommending approval.
Recommend approval.
Yes, thank you, TJ. The second agrees with that
Yes.
amendment?
Yes.
Okay, so let's call the roll, please.
Heather Tays.
Yes.
Frank Boyette.
Yes.
Stacy Denton.
Yes.
Trey Hodge.
Yes.
Gary Gibson.
Yes.
Dickie Johnson.
Yes.
XR Royster.
Yes.
Mac Arnold.
Yes.
Bobby Jarrett.
Yes.
Kevin Richard.
Yes.
Very good, motion passes. Thank you very much. I think that concludes the public hearing business. I'll entertain a motion to leave public hearing.
So be.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor of leaving public hearing, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? We're We're out of public hearing. The next item is the finance report. Ms. Thompson, you help us with that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are now 7 months into our fiscal budget, and we're at 56%. And I'm going to do any questions.
Any questions concerning the finance report? I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor of approval, say yes.
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 Any opposed? Finance report is approved. Next item is the bond report. Ms. Marks?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We just have one item up for the bond report this month. It's Little Caesars, the new location on 8th and Green. The recommendation is that we extend the bond for 1 year. The entrance along 8th Street has not been installed yet. The cost will have to increase due to construction cost increase, excuse me. The new bond amount will be $6,880. And I just need approval to move forward on that.
Any questions concerning the bond report? I'll entertain a motion in regard to the bond report.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of approval, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed?
Yes.
Very good, the bond report is approved. Next item, under administrative business, is the election of officers. How time does fly. We'll do this in 3 separate votes. I'll entertain I'll seek nominations for chairman of the planning commission.
I nominate our illustrious current chairman, Mr. David Dixon, because I think he's done an outstanding job.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any other nominations? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Kevin Richard,
Yes.
Bobby Jarrett,
Yes.
Mac Arnold,
Yes.
XR Royster,
Yes.
Dickie Johnson,
Yes.
Gary Gibson,
Yes.
Gray Hodge,
Wholehearted, yes.
Stacy Denton,
Yes.
Frank Boyette,
Yes.
Heather Tays.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody's support and even the kind words. Next office, of course, is vice chairman. I need a nomination to serve as vice chairman of the planning commission.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to nominate Kevin Richards again to be a vice chairman.
Second.
Okay, we have a nomination. Any other nominations? Hearing none, let's call the roll.
Kevin Richard,
Yes.
Bobby Jarrett,
Yes.
Mac Arnold,
Yes.
XR Royster,
Yes.
Dickie Johnson, Gary Gibson,
Yes.
Gray Hodge,
Yes.
Stacy Denton,
Yes.
Frank Boyette,
Yes.
Heather Tays.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you all, and
Thank you all. Yes, thank you.
thank you, Kevin, for serving. We very much appreciate it. Now we need a nomination for treasurer.
I could nominate Bobby Jarrett.
Second.
Okay, we've got a nomination and second. Any other nominations? Hearing none, let's call the roll.
Heather Tays,
Yes.
Frank Boyette,
Yes.
Stacy Denton,
Yes.
Gray Hodge,
Yes.
Gary Gibson,
Yes.
Dickie Johnson,
Yes.
XR Royster,
Yes.
Mac Arnold,
Yes.
Bobby Jarrett,
Yes.
Kevin Richard.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you all, and thank you, Bobby, for continuing. We appreciate it muchly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's see. Anybody have any other administrative business to bring before the commission? Oh, yes. Committees. We have these few committees that are standing committees, operate year-round: the Bond and Finance Committee, Budget Committee, Land Development Committee, and of course then we have the GIS Advisory Committee. As far as I'm concerned, we can leave these appointments as they are in place here. If anybody wants to join one of these committees, all you need to do is say so, and I can add you to the list. You can let me know. You don't need to let me know tonight, but any contribution you'd like to make to any of those would be greatly appreciated. Anything else?
Motion.
Do we, excuse me?
Do you need a motion?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Uh-huh.
I believe Rhonda has a reminder.
Oh, yes.
Yes, this is just a reminder for each of you to turn in an ACH deposit approval form. I have received 6 out of the 12 members. So if you have lost your form, I brought extra forms today for you to take back with you. And they can be either emailed to me, brought to me, faxed to me. I think that's about my only option.
That was always.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. As we said, if you'd like to indicate an interest in the Bond and Finance Committee, the Budget Committee, Land Development Committee, or the GIS Advisory Committee, just let me know, and we'll add you to the list and update the list at the next meeting perhaps. Okay, anything else that we need to tend to tonight? Anybody else have anything they'd like to bring before the commission for the good of the cause? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of adjournment, say yes.
Yes.
Anybody opposed? Very good. I think we stand adjourned. Thank you folks very much.
Yes.